Welcome to The Explainer. So we've all been there, right? That completely terrifying yet exhilarating moment when graduation is staring you in the face and you realize you actually have to step out of the classroom and into the corporate world. You've got the degree, but almost immediately you hit that classic paradox. Literally every entry-level job wants 3 years of experience. Well, in today's Explainer, we're diving into the source material behind the Admarg Digital Internship program, which tackles this exact problem. This isn't just another generic online course. No, this is a highly structured, intensive train and deploy model explicitly designed to bridge the gap between learning and earning. Let's dive right in.
Here's a quick roadmap for our explainer today. We'll cover bridging the corporate gap, walk through the 5-step journey, highlight what makes the program unique, discuss who exactly should apply, and finally wrap up with real results and your next steps.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Bridging the Corporate Gap, and the actual data behind the program. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the curriculum, we really need to establish why this specific train and deploy approach matters so much. And to do that, let's start with a big number: over 1,200. That is the number of students who have already been successfully trained through Admarg Digital's system. This isn't some experimental pilot program that you're taking a huge gamble on. It's a proven, high-scale operation. Because when a program has pushed over 1,200 students through its pipeline, it means they've refined their curriculum, they've worked out the kinks, and they know exactly what stumbling blocks students face when making that massive jump from campus to corporate life.
And that incredible scale? It translates to immense industry trust, represented by partnerships with more than 150 colleges. Think about it. Universities are naturally protective of their students. They absolutely don't just partner with anyone. Having 150-plus institutions actively collaborating with Admarg Digital shows a widespread recognition in the academic world that traditional degrees sometimes just need a final practical polish. And clearly, Admarg is the trusted partner to provide exactly that.
But here is the most crucial metric for you: an 85% plus placement assistance rate. Because at the end of the day, you aren't just looking for another fancy certificate to hang on your wall. You are looking for a job. You're looking for a career. An 85% plus placement assistance rate is a massive indicator of real-world success. It means the training they provide isn't just theoretical. It actually translates directly into employability and launching careers.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 5-step journey, where we go directly from learning to earning.
Think of this as your own personal hero's journey. How exactly do you take someone with raw academic potential and forge them into a confident, hired professional? Well, this journey follows a super logical, progressive flow: foundation training, hands-on projects, expert mentorship, career readiness, and finally, internship and placement. What makes this incredibly practical is that this entire transformation happens over a highly focused 3 to 6 month duration. Plus, it's totally flexible. You can complete this journey online or right there on campus. Let's break these steps down one by one.
Step 1 is foundation training. Now you might be thinking, wait, didn't I just spend 4 years learning the foundations in college? But there is a massive difference between academic theory and actual industry fundamentals. This step basically strips away all the fluff and focuses purely on what you actually need to know on day one of a job, and it's completely led by industry experts who know exactly what the current market demands.
Once that solid foundation is set, we hit Step 2, hands-on projects. This is the really fun part, where theory meets reality. You aren't doing mock assignments from some 10-year-old textbook. You are working on live client projects and real-world business problems. This is an absolute game changer. When you're sitting in an interview later on, you won't just say, "Oh, I know how to do this in theory." You will literally be able to say, "I solved this exact business problem for a live client." And as you're grinding away on those live projects, you naturally enter Step 3, expert mentorship. Look, working on real projects means you will make mistakes, and honestly, that's exactly the point. Getting direct, unvarnished guidance and feedback from experienced industry professionals is a totally critical phase. It accelerates your career growth in a way that studying alone simply cannot match. You are learning the unwritten rules of the industry directly from people who are already succeeding in it.
Then Step 4 shifts the focus entirely to career readiness. You've got the technical skills, you've done the live projects, but the big question is, can you sell yourself? This step is all about resume building, mock interviews, and soft skills training. It's about translating your raw technical knowledge into pure employability, because how you communicate your value is very often just as important as the value itself.
And finally, step 5, internship and placement, the ultimate reward for all your hard work. This is where you utilize Admarg Digital's placement assistance to secure the absolute right opportunity and get deployed into the workforce. In fact, the entire program is basically reverse engineered from this singular goal, getting you hired successfully.
Okay, let's pivot to Section 3, key program highlights, and what truly makes this program different from the rest.
When you put all these core highlights together, you start to see this incredible comprehensive safety net and a really powerful springboard for your career. The curriculum is carefully designed and aligned with current industry needs. And I mean today's needs, not last year's. We already talked about the live projects and the expert mentorship, but I really want you to notice the flexibility here. Whether you thrive in a bustling, in-person, on-campus environment, or you absolutely need the flexibility of online learning to fit around your final semesters, the program actually adapts to you. This combination of strict industry alignment and flexible delivery sets you up for absolute success.
Next up is Section 4, who should apply? Let's talk about eligibility and, perhaps more importantly, the mindset you need.
So the academic requirements are surprisingly broad. They're welcoming students from all engineering streams, management students with MBAs, and undergraduates with BBAs. But while the academic net is wide, the required mindset traits are highly specific. Admarg is looking for candidates who are genuinely passionate to learn, hyper-focused on career growth, and who are natural problem solvers and team players. They make it very, very clear that your attitude is just as important as your degree. They can teach you the technical skills all day long, but you have to bring the drive, the curiosity, and the willingness to collaborate and solve really hard problems.
And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, real results and next steps, the ultimate reward.
So what does this journey actually look like when you cross the finish line? Well, take it directly from Sneha R., a data analyst who actually went through the program. She noted that the program gave her real-world exposure, confidence, and the right guidance to kickstart my career in analytics. I want you to really notice the words she chose there: exposure, confidence, guidance. It's not just about learning how to use a new software tool. It's about building the deep internal confidence that you truly belong in that corporate room. Sneha's experience really humanizes all those data points we looked at earlier and proves for sure that this structured approach genuinely delivers.
Which brings us to your core, action-oriented takeaways. Learn, build, grow, get deployed. That is the mantra of the Admarg Digital program. But there's a pretty urgent caveat here. Seats are limited. Because this program is incredibly hands-on, and because it requires real live client projects and dedicated expert mentorship, they simply cannot take everyone. It's a highly sought-after program, so if you are even slightly considering making this transition from campus to corporate, you really need to apply early.
So are you ready to kickstart your career and get deployed? You've got the academic background. You know exactly what the gap looks like between the classroom and the boardroom. The only question left is whether you have the mindset to actually take the leap today. If you do, reach out to Admarg Digital in Bangalore or shoot them an email at info@admargdigital.com. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I wish you the absolute best on your exciting journey from learning to earning.